Hello, and today I'm here talking to Karl about his route out of teaching. Karl, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I think your story is actually going to be really interesting, but we'll find out as we go on. So, tell us a bit about your teaching career, why you became a teacher in the first place, the trajectory of your teaching career.
Yeah. Why did I become a teacher? Well, I did a history degree, so what else was I going to do? I'm only half joking there as well. Yeah, so I did a history degree, and I had actually had a job offer to become a teaching assistant when I finished my degree. And then unexpectedly, I won a scholarship to do a master's degree, which was fully funded. And I thought, well, I'm going to be an idiot to turn this down. So I did a master's degree, handed in all the final thesis and things like that. Um, and I think it was very close to that. It may have been the same afternoon. Maybe it was the next day when I'm done now. I don't have a plan. The school got in touch with me and said, look, we remember you from last year. An opening's come up. So would you like to come and interview for it? So yeah, absolutely. So I think if I remember rightly, I handed in my thesis on the Thursday and I had a job in a school on the Monday, which was pretty good timing, to be honest. And then, from there as a teaching assistant, just naturally progressed to, doing the training, qualifying, that sort of thing. I did 10 years altogether as a teacher. In that time, I did head of subjects role. That's as high as I got. I very quickly realised that I didn't want to go any higher. In
Mm.
fact, I probably should have realised earlier on I didn't want to go that high, but it was too late by that point. Yeah, I kind of really I just fell into it, to be honest. I think I was in the right place at the right time to secure that first job, and from there it just kind of naturally progressed.
Mm. Did you like it though, even though it wasn't like your natural vocation? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it had its ups and downs, obviously. I mean, any job does. But yeah, on the whole, I did like most of it. Yeah, I certainly didn't hate it. There was aspects of the job I really did dislike, but I did like generally, being in front of the kids. I did like interacting with them. I did like just having a bit of a laugh and a joke with them at times, really. Yeah, I did enjoy it while it lasted, I think, but it was the right time, I think, to move on as well.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that right time to move on come about?
So I guess like a lot of people, found myself working from home in 2020. Was it that long ago? Yeah, it was.
On
Um,
its track, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Time's meaningless now. I'm just at home every day. I don't know what day it is most of the time. Um, yeah, I found myself working from home, and I'd had this idea about setting up a business, but never really gone ahead with it. Just kind of, well, just too scared to do it, I suppose. It was anxiety, imposter syndrome, all that sort of thing. And then we went back to school I'm trying to remember the times. Did we go back before the summer?
Yeah, there was one term, very
Uh,
key workers kids, and my school, we had GCSE classes coming in,
yeah, so I think,
skeleton staff. We were going in bubbles, so we were doing
yeah.
a week or something. Yeah,
So I think, I can't remember that bit. That bit's just gone.
it was
That's
yeah.
quite worrying.
Was
I
it the
remember
last
being
half
in for,
term?
I remember going in for key workers kids, and it was just one day a week.
Mm,
Just a different staff member would go in one day a week for that bubble. But the first clear memory I've got of going back was the September. And the reason it's so fresh in my mind is my third son had been born the day before.
right.
So I'd gone in, and obviously a lot of people said, well, what are you doing here? You should be on paternity leave. And because everything was going to be so different that September, I said I need to be here for the start, um, just so I can get my head around what's going on. And then I'm going to take paternity leave in a week or two or something like that. So yeah, went back. It was all very weird, all very different. And then we were locked down again towards Christmas time. And I
Mhm.
went back, we had like a day back at school, just a chance for everyone to mix and mingle, and then they locked us down again. And I think at that point I decided, yeah, I don't want to go through this again. I'd quite like to continue with this business idea that I had. So
So, what I find really interesting about your story is that you're a history graduate, you're a history teacher, and yet the business you've set up is nothing to do with your subject specialism, which I think is very encouraging for people who think, oh, I mean, like you said, you've got a history degree, got to be a history teacher. What else is there to do specifically? Well, just because you've got that sort of degree where you think if you're not teaching it, what can you do? Don't stick with that subject. Do what you did. So tell us about what you did.
what I did, well, I set up a web development company, which has since branched out into more general marketing. So I do, we still do websites, but we're kind of more focused on um, Facebook advertising, Google advertising as well. So yeah, it's absolutely nothing related to history at all. Um, and it probably is quite strange that that happened, but yeah, the way I see it is, we've all been to university, we're all well qualified people, teachers I'm talking about. We all have the ability to learn new skills, so why not?
So tell us about your because I mean, if I did my own website when I set my business up, and that was 6 months of my life I'm never going to get back. It was an absolute nightmare, stressful, rubbish. So how do you go from being a history teacher to being able to design websites? That didn't happen overnight. So tell us about that.
No, it didn't. I So there'd been an interest there for a long time. I mean, I remember back at school, trying to make, hand code HTML websites. I think I tried to make a website about skateboarding once, which is weird because although I owned a skateboard, I couldn't really do anything with it. So I don't know where that came from. Um, and then, so it kind of always been there, but I really liked history as well. I really enjoyed that. So that's what I pursued. It'd always been there in the back of my mind, I suppose, kind of online IT kind of related stuff. And I can't remember exactly when, but I'd set up a couple of websites for myself, just kind of hobby, blog kind of things. And I just played around with it, to be honest, just learned as I went along. I had to do a bit of research and Googling around some stuff at times, but I kind of got there. I suppose having that base knowledge helped, and I could develop from there. And it just reached a point where I thought, I could probably actually do this now. I could probably charge someone for this site that I've created. So, why not try it and see what happens?
It boggles my mind because I'm totally not tech savvy at all, and just thought you just, yeah, teach yourself and tinker around and come up with something marketable. So um so you mentioned before when we were talking before we started recording that you were working part-time, still teaching part-time when you set your business up. How long did that state of affairs last for?
That was 1 year. So I did one academic year as part-time before the business was in a strong enough position where I could, go full-time. That allowed me to build up some savings, so I didn't need to take any money out of the business while I was still working, which was, a huge positive, really. Maybe in hindsight, maybe I could have gone full time with it straight away, but I didn't really want to take that risk when, you've got a mortgage and kids to look after. So, yeah, I think I probably was in quite a privileged position at that point where I could do both at the same time.
Yeah. And once you'd left teaching and concentrated full time on the business, how long would you say it was before? I mean, you obviously already knew at that point that it was going to work, but you could say you were making a decent living at it rather than just getting by.
So how long after I sit from leaving teaching altogether to probably straight away, to be fair. I think
Yeah.
there was a point where I was, working 3 days a week on my business, and I realized I was making more money than when I was teaching. So yeah, I think it was kind of straight away. Although it did take a dip, interestingly, when I handed my notice in, my business income took a bit of a dip, typically.
Yeah, just like the fates playing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, just to give me that final I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
Yeah. Test of your
Yeah, that's the yeah.
dedication, I suppose. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So as loads of us who have set up our own businesses as freelancers know, setting up a business and saying, I now have a business is the easy bit. Actually finding the business is the hard bit. So how do you go about, did you originally go about, because I didn't know anything about how to market myself or networking or anything like that. So how did you initially go about finding business before you really, really found your feet in the business world?
Yeah, so initially I just reached out to my network, just people I knew. Um, I think, well, it's interesting because when I first had the idea, I had a message ready to send out to some people who I knew may be interested, and I never sent it because I just wussed out, I suppose. And then when I'd finally been given the kick up the backside to get it done, I just messaged a few people through Facebook who I knew. And interestingly, one of them was my children's swimming teacher. And I said, "Look, I don't know if you'd be interested in having a website set up." And she replied almost instantly, said, "Oh my God, yes. I've actually been looking into this in the last week or so." So we got together and built something for her. It was charged a nominal fee. Not anything to be excited about, but it gave me that first project, which firstly, it has something you can show other people, so it's a portfolio piece. But secondly, it just gives you that confidence to be able to say, right, I've done it now. Like I've actually charged money for this to another business, so that makes me legitimate, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And building on that and moving forward, how do you now tend to get most of your business?
So a lot still comes in from referrals. Yeah, I find that if you do a good job for people and you get them the results they're looking for, they will, refer you on to their business contacts. So I'd say, I mean, I probably should be able to put a percentage on this, shouldn't I? If I was on Dragon's Den, I'd have to. But I'd say, maybe 75% comes from referrals from existing clients. And obviously, once you've been referred onto them, they refer on and it kind of grows from there. A lot of networking on your kind of social media groups, Facebook, LinkedIn, particularly. And then I still get, a number of inquiries incoming as well. People have found me online. So they tend to be people close by who've searched, and I think they've maybe just clicked on one of the top results they see, give me a call, and yeah, we take it from there.
Mm, yeah. And does your business now look like you imagined it would do when you first set it up?
Uh, yes, the business does. I'm not sure the life of a business owner looks like what I thought it would.
In what way?
In the sense that I didn't appreciate how much there is to do and how much there is to know. Um, because you literally you're everything. You're the owner, you're the marketing guy, you're the HR guy, you're the accountant, and yeah, there's just so much to keep on top of.
Mm,
Especially this. I mean, I was doing my tax return on Saturday. That just
yeah, I only did
that's probably
mine
something that
last.
doesn't it never entered my head that I would have to sit in and input my accounts on a HMRC website. But yeah, there I was.
Mm,
I said last year I wouldn't leave it till January again, but here we
I
are.
know. It's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, I did mine last week. And but last year I was pretty good, but no, this year I was,
Yeah.
and it's not that hard once you start, is it
Yeah.
really?
And my wife's an accountant anyway, which is the great irony. But
Hilarious. Uh, so obviously no regrets. Do you know, it tickles me if I bump into people from my previous life and they say, "Oh, do you miss teaching?" Kind of questions that.
Yeah.
Do you? Do you miss teaching?
No, not really. I missed the casual chats in the staff room, I suppose.
Oh, I can't remember the last time I had time for that, but yeah, I was missing
Well,
those
yeah, but
already
this is
before I
it. I
finished
mean,
teaching.
they only last 5 minutes, don't they? But it's
Yeah.
just that sort of thing that breaks up the day. You know, I know when the World Cup was on last year, and I'd watch a match, and I had no one to say, "Oh, did you see that match last night too?" And
Mm.
that was the one of the biggest challenges, I think. So, you know, I'm not the most social of people, so you know, I don't find myself in a staff room for hours on end chatting to everyone, but you know, just those little 5, 10 minutes here and there. Surprising what difference it makes to your day, actually.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, because you can go the whole day without exchanging a word with another person, can't you? Working like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and you pick your kids up from school and say, "Oh, tell me all about your day. What have you done? What have you learned?" And they go, "Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, nothing."
Yeah. Would you learn nothing? All right. Yeah. Um, so is there anything that you would have changed about how things happened? Um, not, I mean, obviously, we would all love to have been able to change what was going on in school that made us leave. But I mean, from that point to now on your learning curve, is there anything that was a problem that you perhaps think with hindsight that you could have foreseen, or if you would have done anything differently?
Um, I think I think probably one of the main things is my own organization and you know having to get things done because you literally I think one of the most underrated things that nobody mentions on you know the business gurus and all these kind of people that they don't say is one of the main skills you need is discipline, I think. Because there's no one here, there's no head teacher looking over my shoulder or an offset inspector with a clipboard making me do things. It's I'm going to have to do this now of my own accord. So I think it's quite easy to put off the job you don't want to do. So yeah, I think from that perspective, I should have maybe got my own house in order a little bit more
Mm,
on that front, and you know, having a plan of this is what I'm going to do with my day. Um, this is what I'm going to do with my week, my month, you know, that sort of thing. You need that kind of structure, I feel.
yeah, yeah. So then you haven't got the timetable and the bells ringing, and you know,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and is there anything that you are particularly pleased about? Give yourself
I
a pat
just,
on the back for?
oh, I'm not very good at talking myself up. It's ironic because I do marketing for other people, but I don't like doing it for myself. Um, just that I've done it, I think. Just actually getting to this point is, I feel, is an achievement, and the fact I'm still going, what, almost 18 months later, is, you know, I feel quite proud of that, and the fact that I'm still going. I mean, I've had my wobbles, and there's been, you know, times where I've been concerned about this or that or the other, but you know, still here, still going, still working out okay. So yeah, we'll keep on going. You know, I remember when I left, I remember some other colleagues saying, "Oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could leave and do this." And, well, why can't you?
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to get across to people. Why can't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's you know, what if I can do it? And I'm certainly nothing special in you know any business front. I'm sure there's much better business people than myself out there. So if I can do it, then
And what effect would you say it's had on your overall quality of life?
oh, hard to put that into words. It's you know it's so different, so different to teaching. You know, this morning woke up, it was dark, it was cold. Uh, did I have to brush my teeth and throw a suit on and run out in the dark and cold? No. You know, put some comfy trousers on and made a cup of tea. uh,
Mm.
I think it's not all positive as well. I would like to make that clear, but I think it's so different to having to be in this place at this exact time, and leave at this time, and your holidays are preset. You have your 6 weeks holidays here, you have your 2 weeks at Christmas, Easter, etc. You have so much more freedom, and especially as a parent, I was able to take my youngest off to school for his first day, well, preschool for his first day at preschool last week. I've not been able to do that with my other two. I went to all the Christmas plays this year. I've not been able to do that before. I went to sports day in the summer. Just all the things that you kind of miss out on. I've been able to take part in. So I think my family life improved, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And just some last words then.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling what your advice would be, but what would your advice be to anybody watching this, nervous about taking the step?
Yeah, just do it. Just That's all there is. Just do it. If it doesn't work out, the sun will still come out tomorrow. And we've all got, I'm saying we've all, I'm assuming everyone who watches this is a teacher. But we've got a qualification and we have experience in schools. And the way I see it is, we're always going to be in demand. Or I hope we are anyway.
Yeah,
But at the minute, as things stand, there are more people leaving than entering the profession. So there's a supply and demand imbalance and it's in our favor. So I don't think there's ever been a better time to really give it a go and see what you can do.
yeah. Right. And on that note, Carl, I will say thank you very much for your time today. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you very much for having me, and I hope your business goes well as well.
Thank you.